You are exhausted from holding it together. Not physically tired. Deeper than that. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. The kind where you wake up in the morning and the weight is already there. Before your feet even touch the floor. You've been the one who keeps going. The one who doesn't fall apart. And somewhere along the way, it started costing you something you can't quite name. You haven't told anyone how bad it actually is. Because who would understand? Because the people around you need you steady. Because somewhere in the back of your mind, you believe that if you stop holding it together, everything falls apart, including whatever faith you have left. But here's what most people miss. The version of strength you've been performing isn't the kind God ever asked for. You've been carrying a weight that was never meant for your shoulders alone. And the longer you carry it, the further away God starts to feel, not because He moved, but because you've been so focused on not breaking that you stopped letting anything in, including Him. Stay with me, because this next part matters more than you think. There is a man in the Bible who had given everything. He had lost his wealth, his children, his health. He sat in ashes. His friends gave him theology when he needed a hand. And Job, righteous, faithful Job, didn't perform strength. He demanded answers. He said to God in Job 23:3, "If only I knew where to find him. If only I could go to his dwelling." That's not polished faith. That's a man who is done pretending. That's a man saying, "I am so tired, and I don't even know where you are anymore." And God didn't rebuke him for it. Think about that. The moment most people stop watching right here, don't. Because this is where it changes everything. There is something God does with people who are honest about their exhaustion that He cannot do with people still performing their strength. He meets them, not eventually, not after they clean themselves up spiritually, in the ash, in the 2 a.m. moment when the prayer feels like it hits the ceiling and comes back down. Psalm 34:18 doesn't say, "The Lord is near to those who are managing well." It says, He is near to the brokenhearted. He saves those who are crushed in spirit. The word crushed in the original Hebrew, daka, means pulverized, powdered. There is a precision in that verse that most people gloss over. God is not standing at the edge of your pain offering encouragement. He is inside the thing that has been destroying you, but you have to let it break. Corrie ten Boom survived Ravensbrück concentration camp. She watched her sister Betsy die in that place. She wrote later in her life, something that takes a long time to understand, that when we are powerless to do a thing, it is a great joy to put it in God's hands. Not a comfort. She called it a joy. That is not the language of someone who found faith easy. That is the language of someone who ran out of strength entirely and found that what was on the other side of empty was not nothing. David knew this, not the triumphant David of the Psalms you hear at church, the David of Psalm 22. My God, why have you forsaken me?" He wrote those words before the victory, in the middle of the darkness, and God counted it as worship. Your exhaustion is not a sign that your faith is failing. It may be the first honest thing you've brought to God in a long time. What I'm about to tell you took me years to understand. Strength, for the believer, is not the absence of breaking. It's what you do with the pieces. Isaiah 40:31 doesn't say, "Those who wait on the Lord will avoid being weary." It says they will walk and not faint. Walking, not flying, not running, just walking. One step, not faint. That is the promise available to you right now. You don't have to fix it tonight. You don't have to understand why it happened. You don't have to find the words for a prayer. You can just be where you are and let God be where He said He would be, near the brokenhearted. That is not a greeting card. That is a covenant. If this message found you at the right time, that's not an accident. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.